Hey everyone, I'm Almar of almarsguides.com, and in this video here, I'm going to be talking about my Howler's Maze base in Kenshi. So as you can see, I'm in the southern portion of Howler's Maze right now, kind of in this big crater. I wanted to set up right in the middle of the crater, but then I would have had to go extra far for copper, and I didn't really want that, because there's two copper nodes right here that are inside of my base, but they're right outside the crater. They're basically on like the southern edge of the crater right here. So I needed to incorporate these into the base. However, as far as iron goes, they're basically all over the place. I got, I think, 5 iron nodes in my base. I got one here, 2 there, and I think there's one more. I could be mistaken though. I might be thinking of this one that it's like right next to my base, right outside the wall, that I didn't incorporate it in the base. And I think there's some other iron over here. Yeah, there is. That I could have over there. But I'm not really interested in that. That's a bit overkill to incorporate all of that iron into the base. You can see we have a little bit of a base raid going on here too. Reavers recently attacked us. So let me actually, I'll talk about the base raids that you'll get at this location while I have the map up. So Reavers are going to attack you here, as you can see. Slave traders are also going to attack you here, as well as crab raiders. Crab raiders only came one time to attack me at this base, and I've imported the game a few times too, so I don't know why they haven't come back to attack me. Only when I first made this base did they ever attack me. Reavers usually attack me about once a week, and they are probably the hardest thing that can attack me at this base, because they have stats in like the upper 50s or lower 60s, which can be a bit troublesome to manage. So Reavers are probably the strongest base attack that you're going to have to deal with. The second strongest base attack is going to be Slavers, I would assume. Although, if you are hostile with the Holy Nation, you will have to deal with, hostile with Undercities, you will have to deal with Undercity base raids here, because we are pretty close. We are kind of in Undercity territory, so do keep that in mind. So let me talk about the other perks of being here. As far as prospecting goes, you'll notice this environment is 100% green and 50% arid. You'll also notice that it has somewhat decent fertility stone, also somewhat pretty damn good iron. You'll notice it says 0 copper, but that's okay. I just wasn't close enough to the copper deposits, which are over here, for them to rack up. So with it being 100% green and 10% arid, or sorry, was that 50% arid? I forgot already. I need to go outside. It is 50% arid. Okay. So with it being 50% arid, you're able to grow arid and green crops here. So you're able to grow green fruit, wheat straw, cactus, hemp, and I think cotton can all be grown here. However, if you're growing hemp, you don't really need to grow cotton. You can just grow hemp instead, because that's used to make fabric, and it's also a better ratio to make fabric. Also, hemp has a lot of other uses, like medical workbenches, and also making hash if you wanted to go that route. But that's, you know, your call and what you want to do. You can grow a ton at this base. Also, one thing that's worth mentioning is in Howler's Maze, you will get acid rain. However, acid rain does not negatively affect you growing whatsoever. You can still collect acid rain in water catchers and use that water on your plants, and also use that water in cooking. It doesn't matter whatsoever. So keep that in mind. Also, there's a lot of places online that will say this acid rain will actually give you extra protection against base raids. I don't know how true this is. In my experience, base raids rarely ever take any damage from acid rain. Usually the Reavers, they come in from the south right here, so they're only in Howler's Maze for like less than a minute before they arrive at my base. So they're not even taking much damage from the acid rain to begin with. The slave traders sometimes come from the north. They probably do take a lot of damage from acid rain if you are currently at your base and have it loaded in. In my experience, how this works is if you're like messing around with a few characters that are way, way far away, like say you're playing a few characters up in this Shobatai area right up here in the Great Desert, your base will not be loaded into the game. So none of the environmental effects going on around your base will be loaded into the game. Therefore, none of them will be happening. So That's something you might want to keep in mind, because that means you will not be affected by the acid rain at all during that time. There's other things too to mention. You can decrease the amount of damage you'll suffer from acid rain. So there's certain gear you can put on, like this white plate jacket. It has 40% acid resistance. This iron hat has 35% acid resistance. There's also things you can use, like where's my armored hood? Kang is wearing an armored hood, which gives 25% acid resistance. And there's just stuff like that will give you a dust coat too. Let me see if I can find right here. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, dust coat. This character has masterwork grade dust coat, which gives 80% acid resist, which is some of the highest you can get on a single piece of gear in this game. So there's things you can do that will reduce the amount of damage that you take from acid anyway. So keep that in mind, because it's useful to use this gear when you're at this location to reduce the incoming damage you take from acid. So, instead of showing you each building and what it does in this video, I'm going to show you a very, very useful thing that is in this area that everybody should be aware of. So, right north of my base, you'll see it says Lost Town here. This area actually has one of the world bosses called Mega Crab. And Mega Crab is pretty darn powerful. I'll show you in a second here, once Agnew gets over there. Also, Agnew is one of the unique companions in this game. He's actually named after Richard Nixon's vice president, Spiro Agnew, from Futurama, technically. You'll notice in this game, Agnew does a lot of primal growls and stuff like that. It's because of the Futurama reference. Sadly, he doesn't have any skeleton repair kits on me, which is a bit unfortunate. Didn't realize he didn't have any on me. So here is Mega Crab right over here. So you can notice Mega Crab is a world boss based on really nothing else aside from the amount of HP he has on his limbs. He has pretty good stats too. And Mega Crab is actually a great way to raise your skills. How it works in Kenshi is the higher your opponent's skills versus when compared to your own, the faster yours will raise. So because Mega Crab has really good stats, you'll raise your toughness pretty quickly getting beat up by him. So one thing to mention, though, about this is after you kill the Mega Crab, in order to make him repop, you'll need to use the import game feature, which you can do from the main select screen. Boot up Kenshi, and instead of selecting load game, select import game. And then you can select whatever save file you want. Specifically, you want to select your main save file. And then import your game. Essentially, this will reload all of the loot in the world and reload all of the special enemies in the world, and also put your game back to the original state when you first started it, is essentially what it does. You can select things that you want to import, like you can import buildings, which will import your town. That's set on by default. You can import research, you can import your faction relations, and you can import a bunch of other things. And those are... It's useful to know about this because pretty much everybody in Kenshi who does a trick to raise their stats very, very quickly uses this import game feature. You can essentially have 5 characters, throw them at that Mega Crab until they take them down, and then run them back to base, heal up, import game, go back to the Mega Crab, rinse, repeat, and just keep doing that rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat until you get, whatever toughness it is that you're aiming towards, or whatever other skills you're aiming towards, increase to what you want them to be. I've gotten my character's toughness from like 55 to 60 doing this method over the last couple of hours. I'm doing it a little inefficiently because I'm fighting it with like 10 characters at a time, but my characters aren't strong enough to take out Mr. Mega Crab by their own right now with just a small team. So I got to use a big team and basically zerg them down. But that's really all there is to it. Hopefully this video answered some of you guys' questions. Hopefully it shed some light on the Howler's Maze base location. And if I forgot anything whatsoever, or if you guys know a better location to build a base in Howler's Maze than this one, be sure to let me know in the comments. That way everybody gets, all of the information and it's as accurate as possible, especially if I got anything wrong. And aside from that, if this video helped you guys out, be sure to leave me a like because that helps me out. Aside from that, I will catch you guys around in future Kenshi videos. Peace.